Hello everyone, welcome to the 2022 New Jersey International Film Festival Filmmaker Interview Series. I'm Professor Albert Nygren from Rutgers University, and I've been running this festival for 27 years. And today we have a wonderful filmmaker that I will introduce you to so that she can talk about her wonderful documentary. But just let me give you some overview information. The 2022 NJIFF will be taking place between June 3rd and June 12th on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings. Our festival is going to be a hybrid festival again this year. It seems to be working for us because we now have patrons from all over the United States, actually all over the world, that come and check out our festival. So all the films will be available online for 24 hours. And then there's a number of programs, mostly on the Fridays and Saturday evenings, where we'll do live screenings as well. Tickets are $15, and that $15 buys you the online version as well as the in-person version. And in fact, last season, we had people watch the film during the day, loved it so much, and came and watched it that evening on our big screen and got to hang out with the filmmakers as well. But today we have Maria Nairo here. She's a wonderful, wonderful filmmaker who made The Art of Unwar, which is a documentary about an amazing artist named Krzysztof Wodiczko. And he's an amazing artist that does interventionist art. Tell us how you got involved in making this film, Maria.
Well, I met Krzysztof about a decade ago, actually. And I met him during the Abraham Lincoln War Veteran Projection, which is an art intervention that took place in 2012 in November in Union Square, New York City. And I was very moved by this, what was taking place. It was a projection on the Lincoln statue, and it was the faces and the voices of war veterans from Afghanistan, from Iraq, and also Vietnam War. And that's how I was introduced to his work, and that's where I met him.
So you've been documenting him for almost a decade.
I have. That was pretty much the impetus to what came out to be The Art of Unwar. At first, I was going to make a short documentary, and then the more I investigated into his past work, I began to realize that he had been investigating war memorials and doing projections since the 1980s, but his art intervention work actually began in Poland in 1968.
Right.
And so I thought, this really deserves a feature-length documentary, because the work was deep and profound and has an incredible message.
I mean, one of the lines in the movie that I really liked was that he takes art off the wall and into the street. And that gives you an idea that he takes these memorials and he projects other people on top of them. So the statues kind of come to life. And the buildings become people, because he'll take buildings and he'll project eyes or hands, or, you know, he'll reify the buildings. He'll make them into peoples. And I think it's just fascinating how he's able to transform pre-existing works and make you question why they are there, right? Because your documentary is all about these pieces that deal with war that he did. Tell us a little bit more about some of the things that our audience will see in your movie.
Well, I've documented a few projections. You'll see the Abraham Lincoln War Veteran Projection, which I've already mentioned. And there's also a projection that I documented in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. And that features a woman who was a refugee from Iraq and her son, and that's projected on the Queen Victoria statue.
Yeah, that's a great one too. And I mean, I think when I watched the evolution of his art, because he also created this vehicle for the homeless, which I thought was wild, because I don't know if I would want to be in one of these, but I think it's as your documentary accurately points out, that's really meant to question why we have so many homeless people here.
Yeah, it really was. The homeless vehicle is one of Christoph's most iconic works, which took place in the 1989 to address the homeless issue that was happening in New York. And as he states, there were 100,000 or more homeless people, and they were everywhere. And a lot of people were talking about what to do with the homeless people, and some of the ideas were pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But here he was addressing the issue through art and design to draw attention to the issue and to the people. And it's an incredible work. But I put it into my film also because a lot of these people that he collaborated with, because Christoph collaborates with people. They participate in his film, and so they become part of the process, which is why this is called a social practice. And so a lot of these people were camping out in Tompkins Square Park, and a lot of these men were Vietnam War veterans. Right. And I thought that was very interesting because people don't usually talk about the homeless vehicle in that context. And also I thought, to me, the homeless vehicle always looks like a bullet, like a weapon,
a missile, or
a missile,
something.
you know. And so,
It's an amazing piece. I mean, so many of the other things that he does, this kind of wearable tech that audiences will see, and there's so many amazing artworks that he created, not just the projections, you know, so you'll get to see a nice mix in the movie that you made. Was it easy to, this is pretty much our last question, was it easy to work with Christoph?
Christoph was aware that I'm my own artist. He made suggestions about his work. Of course, he wanted he was very concerned that his work would be presented and represented correctly, which I would be too. I would say when you're dealing with an artist and you're filming about their life, because this movie is about his life as well, there was a certain period where I had to gain his trust, as it happens in all documentary filmmaking, and that took quite a bit of time because he didn't know me and I didn't know him, so we got to know each other through this film. And of course he travels a lot. He's still very active in doing interventions till this day, and he travels, and his works take about a year to complete. So there was a lot of waiting, and then there was a lot of waiting for funding so that I could travel to document his work. So there were difficulties in that sense, but he was very respectful of, he would always say, "This is your film."
That's cool.
You know, and I really respected that.
Yeah, yeah. And you could tell that comes through. I mean, I kind of wanted to ask that question because obviously you guys got along, because it's so long of a process to make the film, and it comes out beautifully. I mean, it's an amazing film. Folks, you absolutely have to see this great film, which is actually the festival opener. We're going to be screening The Art of Unwar on Friday, June 3rd at Rutgers University, Voorhees Hall, room 105, which is located at 71 Hamilton Street in New Brunswick, New Jersey. That screening will be at 7 p.m. Maria, you're going to be there too, hopefully.
I will be there. I did want to mention that the film is available to the educational sector through New Day Films.
Yes.
And that's newday.com. And so I'm very excited about that.
Yes, you just got the film picked up. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyway, folks, you need more information about the screenings, which will also be available online that entire day. You go to njfilmfest.com, and then you will need to click on current events, and then click the red button to buy tickets, which will bounce you to our Eventive website, and you can get all the information about all the wonderful movies that will be screening there. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.